This video is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes, you guys. Hire Heroes is your one-stop shop when it comes to virtual staffing and making sure that you have qualified talent with your business. One thing that I love about Hire Heroes, you guys, is they've actually gone through the process already of vetting and making sure that your staff member is well trained to best fit your needs. Whether you need help with social media work, posting things on your accounts, responding to people that send messages to your social media accounts, whether you need help with data entry or a multitude of other things that they're qualified to do, Hire Heroes has got you covered. If you're having trouble finding quality talent and number two, affording to be able to run payroll for that talent, Hire Heroes has got you covered with an affordable alternative to have a virtual assistant working for your business. There's a link down in the description of this video to where you can learn more about getting your own VA through Hire Heroes. I certainly recommend it. They're what we use in our business for all of our virtual assistant needs, and you will want to make sure that you check them out today. Everybody, welcome to this training. We're really excited to have you here. Thanks for taking some time with us. Josh and I have about 45 minutes to spend with you guys, so we're going to make sure that we jam pack it, move quickly, and get a lot of value into this. Do me a favor if you're coming in, turn your mute on for us so we don't have any background noise. That would be super helpful. We would appreciate it. I'm trying to manually mute as many of you as possible so I don't have to mute Josh, but if you could just mute yourselves, that would do us a big service and prevent any kind of background noise. So we would definitely appreciate that. Yeah, guys, real quickly, what we're going to kind of be teaching in this training is really some steps you can take as an agent on how you can increase your overall level of production on a month-to-month basis. These are things that both Josh and myself have done in our own businesses that have allowed us to really grow and propel. And so we're both really excited to kind of share this with you. I also wanted to kind of mention, if you guys have not already heard, I'm going to be co-hosting a Thrive event with Josh in September in Omaha, Nebraska. This training can be looked at as a preview to kind of some of the information you can expect to hear and learn at that event. I'm actually going to throw a link to it in the chat here that you guys can visit and pick up tickets. It's super inexpensive, very affordable. It's only $250 investment. So we highly recommend that you go. And I know Josh wanted to talk a little bit about that before we get started. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
Yeah. While I'm talking, make sure you grab a pen and a paper because we're about to kick off. We're just kind of letting people join the room right now, you guys, and we're going to dive in for about 40 to 45 minutes. You will definitely want to take notes today because we're going to be giving you a strategy roadmap, very similar strategy roadmap that I give to some of my private consulting clients that work with me. And it's just like, where are you at now and where are you going to go and exactly how are you going to get there? Now, of course, in 40 minutes today, I can't dive into the absolute weeds on every single thing it takes to grow your business into a multi-million-dollar agency or to, if you're already there, grow it even further. But we're going to give you the roadmap today. And I promise in the Thrive seminar in Omaha, September 18th and 19th, we're going to be filling in all of the details in those 2 days together. It's in person. We are super excited to be doing that. I've done them a bunch in the past. We have hundreds of testimonials at this point. So go check it out. If you've ever been before, throw a little kind word in there if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, you can tell people don't go. I'm pretty confident nobody here has ever had a bad experience at Thrive. So we're going to be diving into that. So go grab that link and save it, and then get ready to take some notes. We're about to dive in. Give me a little cash or give Christian a little cash if you agree with something. It's our kind of way of on camera interacting with people. And if you promise to give me your best today, I will promise to give you my best. If you give me your worst, I'll just sit here and stare at the screen awkwardly. So practice giving a little cash for me, please. And when that's on camera, awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right, Christian, you ready to dive in?
I am ready. We have 103 people in here. Super happy to see all of you guys and all of your faces. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right. For those of you that just joined, turn your cameras on. If you are not driving, please turn your cameras on. We like to interact with you as real humans, not just names on a screen. Thank you. Hey, good to see you, Rob, my friend. Awesome. All right, let's dive in. I'm going to share my screen really quick. Before we do anything, there's 3 steps that we're going to be covering today. And there's actually a 4th one. So we included a step 0. And step 0 is identifying right now, where are you at in your current business before we know where we are going to go and take this thing, we have to really identify where are we at today. And so I'm going to share quickly my screen with you. Give me one moment here. I do have a slide for this that I would like to show. Okay, there's 5 stages of an insurance agent, in my opinion. And each of these, you're in one of these. And when you know what your stage is, I want you to post it in the chat. So post it in the chat so we understand. Stage 1, when you're in this business, is really all you're doing. You're brand new to the business. You got recruited. Somehow you got into this business. And all you're really wanting to do is create independence from your job. That's what most people are trying to do, is create independence from your job and get to your first 10, 15, 20 clients, something like that.
What?
Stage 2 is creating income. And that's really going for, let's say, $100,000, your first $100,000 year, or some arbitrary number. Really what that represents is a living. You have now turned this little thing that you started into something that generates cash flow for you and your family, and you can live off of that income. And once you know what your stage is, post it in the chat so I can see. Stage 3, this is when you graduate from that level, and really now all the bills are paid for. You're doing pretty well. You're probably growing on referrals. You're probably growing on some direct mail. That's a lot of, the strategies that we see, or, partnerships in the community to refer business to you, et cetera. And now your major goal is to create abundance. And I used to think abundance was a certain number, like it was 300,000 or 500,000 or whatever the heck that number is. And then I realized it's just an arbitrary number. That's kind of a stupid way to look at it. That's why we get so fixated on 6 figures or 7 figures, which at the end of the day, that's just a number. Why is $1 million better than why is $1 million different than 1.1 or 900,000? So I want you to ask yourself the question right now, why is my goal relevant? Write that on the top of your page. Why is my goal relevant? If you're striving for 7 figures, that's great. Go for it. But why not 1.1? That's kind of an arbitrary number. Why not 1.2? Why not 900? Anyway, I'll digress on that for a minute. Stage 3 is creating abundance. And the reason I don't think it's a number, I think it's doubling what you need. That's what I think it is. It's abundant if you have enough money to pay your bills, to pay your marketing, and at the end of the day, if you need $5,000 to live, if you're making $10,000 a month net in your bank account, that's abundance. If you need $20,000 a month to live, you're going to need $40,000 a month to hit abundance, in my opinion. Give me some cash if that's making sense to you guys. Awesome. Stage 3. Stage 4 is creating freedom. So at the end of stage 3, if you double what you need, you now have financial freedom. You really do. It might not be the same level where you can go buy a jet or buy an island or some crazy thing, but you do have financial freedom, and you have the ability now to invest heavily back into your business if you should desire that, because you have money. So when you go into stage 4, most people think stage 4 is all about scaling your income. Wrong. I disagree with that 100%. If you already have double your need, your next priority is to get your time back. Get your time back. Because otherwise, you're going to build yourself a prison, a very high-paying prison. You could scale to 60,000 a month or something like that. But then you have 70 or 80 hours of work every week, and you start to dislike your business, and you get burnt out over time, even though you're getting paid a lot. So first things first, buy back your time, get some time freedom back. And that's in the form of hiring administrative assistant, or maybe 1 or 2, depending on your needs there, getting them to take on a bunch of the work on the service side, delegating that, etc. So each of these stages have different action items that you need to be going through. Now, stage 5, this is awesome, because at the end of stage 4, you have now money freedom, and at the same time, you have time freedom because you did it in the right order. Now that you have your newfound money and your newfound time, you have to decide what's left. Well, I guess creating a legacy. Do I want to, there's 2 ways to create a legacy. Do I want to create a legacy inside of this business? Do I want to scale this business, my insurance agency, because I love it and it's my passion and I love bringing on new team members and I want to grow this thing and I love helping seniors or whatever it is? If that's your passion, then that's option A. Scale this business with your money and your time that you now have. That's great. The second option is maybe now that your business is on autopilot, it's running itself, it's growing automatically, you have money and you have time. Maybe you have a different passion project. Maybe one guy said, always wanted to start a podcast. Okay, well, don't quit the insurance agency and go start a podcast if you're in stage 2 or 3, because then your podcast has to make hundreds of thousands of dollars to support your family. And that's not very realistic starting out the gate. It'll turn your hobby into something that you now hate. And I see it time and time again. Build this thing to end of stage 4, and then you can pursue those other interests because you no longer need any money. You already have the money that you want. Hopefully this feels relevant to where you're at in your life on one of these stages. So I'm going to look at the chat really quick. Now that you know the 5 stages, tell me which stage you're working on now. I'd like to see it in the chat. We've got 130 people in here. Let's see what we got. Stage 3, stage 4, stage 3, stage 2, stage 4. Awesome. Stage 1, stage 1, stage 2. Okay, great. On your piece of paper, I want you to ask this question to yourself. Write it down so you can consider it later. What do I need more of right now? What do I need more of right now? More time or more clients? More time or more clients? If you need more clients, it means you have plenty of time right now. You're probably in stage 2 or 3. That's great. Your next focus is not on systems and CRMs and whatever can distract us, your business card and what your logo looks like. Honestly, that's not what it's all about. If you have more time and you need more clients, the next thing you focus on is marketing. And you need to figure out, how can I talk to more humans in the most efficient way possible? How can I talk to more humans and get them to sign up for insurance? That's it. That's as simple as it is. If you need more time right now, you are probably, if you're a go-getter, and I know you are because you already got to end of stage 3, if you need more time right now, what we often fail to realize is that we say, let's go after more marketing. Hey, Josh, I need more time, but I really want to hear the marketing today. Well, you don't really need to focus on the marketing if you already have too many clients and you don't have enough time. The next thing you need to focus on is get your time back, and then you have plenty of time to go after the next level and scale your business with more clients. Is that making sense? Give me some cash if this framework of thinking is making sense to you. Awesome, awesome. Appreciate it. All right, Christian, I just spoke for like 10 minutes straight without taking a breath. So I'll let you chime in on some of your experiences through those stages.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Good stuff. I would say, you guys, I've always looked at this. I've been using this reference a lot. If any of you guys listen to a lot of my content, you probably notice that I oftentimes get really into a certain analogy, and I'll say it over and over and over again until I get sick of it, and then I move on to something else. And I look at it like, if any of you played video games when you were a child, right? Like you start at the first level. And the first level has certain challenges. Maybe it's more difficult when you first start learning how to play the game. But once you master it, you move on to level 2. And level 2 is a little bit harder than level 1, right? There's different challenges. There's different areas that you need to focus on and master and expertise. Then you move on to level 3, level 4, level 5. You finally reach like the final level. It's like the totally overpowered boss, the final boss, and you have to defeat the boss. That's kind of the way I look at moving through different levels. You have to focus on different areas that got you from level 1 to level 2 if you want to get from level 4 to level 5. If you do the exact same things and you have the exact same focuses and concentrations, if that same type of action would have gotten you to level 5, it would have in the first place. You wouldn't have ended up from level 1 just to level 2. So you have to go through these steps. You can't cheat or leapfrog a step, but I do believe that you just need to change up your focuses, change up your level of concentration. One thing that Josh said earlier, I just wanted to really quickly piggyback on. I've had this kind of concept lately about, if you have a passion project. Josh mentioned passion projects earlier. If you have a passion project, it should not replace what I would call the tree of life. to me, the tree of life is what is your primary business. I'm actually been thinking about writing a book on this. If you guys would like to see that, let me know that in the chat. But the concept is, if you want to diversify multiple streams of income, most people do it wrong. Most people try to do things that are totally separate from their primary source of income. What you should be doing is doing things that connect to your primary source of income. And think of it like, your business is a tree and this passion project is a branch of the tree. It relates, right? And so I've been really into that kind of concept lately of never abandon the tree of life, and make sure that, your additional projects or anything like that, if it's a hobby, that's a different thing. But if it's an additional project, it's always helpful if it's related to what you do, right? Like it should be tied together, right? Like if I'm in the insurance business and then I completely break off and I go off and I try to be a website developer for people that run plant shops, that's not related, right? I'm completely abandoning the tree of life, and it doesn't. The businesses don't stream together. They don't create a web together, and they don't support each other. If anything, they take away from one another. And so I just some piggybacking off of kind of what Josh already said, but just some thoughts that I've had, and I think it's exactly kind of the pinpoint focus you need to be looking at, right? You have to take it one stage at a time and change up your focuses to get to the new stage. And each stage you go, it's really fun when you're building a business, because it's taking on new challenges, right? And they become a little bit more complex to kind of figure out as you go, but it's like a game, and you just keep growing. And yeah, it's the definition of growth.
To your point, Christian, and actually get ready to write this down. I'm really big on taking notes, if that's okay with everybody. That way you have something concrete to come back to when you're reflecting on this training. Is where's my focus right now? Like, where's my focus going right now? And for some people, that's going to be a hard pill to swallow. Where's my focus going right now? Is it truly in, if you're somebody that needs more time, is it truly in freeing up your time? Or are you constantly looking for more clients still? That's just going to dig you a deeper hole on the time department. If you're somebody that has lots of time, well, then where are you putting your time right now in order to get those new clients? It's not going to be scrolling Facebook all day. And that's just there's tons and tons of traps. And so for this particular thing about where's your focus going, this has taken me from, for any of you that are in stage, maybe end of stage 2, like 3 or 4, stage 3, 2, 3, 4. If you're making maybe $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year right now, this is what took us from that level of income in the last couple of years to over that amount per month, like $250,000 a month, right? And that's a completely different ball game. And it's not investing in real estate on the side that did that for us. It's not in investing in stocks or cryptocurrency, or I see people gambling on the internet. Like, dude, it's not in those things. It's in building your business to the next level. And if you have a hobby, great, that's fine. But this business is what's going to get you the money that you're looking for. I don't know of a different opportunity on planet Earth that can give you more income and more flexibility than this business when built right. So anyway, enough said on that. For those of you that just joined, if you are in end of stage 2, stage 3, or stage 4, I'm going to be bold. And I want you to write this term down. Boldness is always rewarded. Somebody told me at the seminar, they said, Josh, they texted me. He said, Josh, that phrase has changed my life. Now, this guy is making over $150,000 a month already. So he's not a nobody when it comes to money. And he said, Josh, I've been living my whole life like a scaredy cat. Yeah, not quite in those terms. That's kind of what he's saying. Boldness has changed my life. And so I'm going to be bold with you today. If you're in end of stage 2, stage 3, or stage 4, you absolutely need to go to the Thrive seminar. There is nothing like the seminar that teaches you how to go through the frameworks to grow from 150 or 200 or 300,000 in income to the next level at 7 figures or multiple 7 figures. And the investment is laughable. It doesn't even cover the cost of the event. So I am guaranteeing you, for those of you that are in stage 2, 3, 4, or 5, I guess, you will absolutely love that event. If you're in stage 1, you're still welcome to come, or stage 2, welcome to come. I would love to have you there so you can learn these things. Just know that some of the marketing principles we talk about might not be the best use of your money right now or time if you don't have any money. So if you have money and you can invest in your business, come to the Thrive seminar. It's a no-brainer. If you don't, you can come to the Thrive seminar for some of the personal development stuff we talk about and build a roadmap for yourself. So thought that I would kind of give a frame of what is most valuable and what's not. So let me stop showing my screen. I'd like to see everybody in the room. Step one, who's ready for step one? Give me some cash. If we get enough cash, we'll go to step one from step zero. Awesome. Step one is of growing from let's say 10 or 15 apps a month. Who's doing a lot of referrals? Raise your hand if you're doing a lot of referrals as your main source. Referrals, direct mail, local relationships, grassroots. Okay, I got quite a few of you. Most people I talk to that are in that ballpark are writing anywhere from maybe 5 to maybe even up to 20. So maybe 10 or 15 on average a month. And this training is largely for you. So if you're in that ballpark and you've been relying on referrals, direct mail, organic marketing, grassroots type stuff, and you're writing 10, 15, maybe 20 at the most for most people, and you really want to go to the next level, this is going to be really helpful for you. The first step is how can you find a predictable and reliable marketing source to bring you clients day in and day out? An easier way to say this is you need a marketing system, a process. Tomorrow, if I said, okay, Kevin, if this was you, I don't even know if this is your scenario, but if I said, okay, Kevin, you've been relying on referrals and direct mail. I want you tomorrow to just go and pull a lever in your business, and I want you to go write 50 apps in the next 30 days. You'd be like, well, okay, I got a lot of referrals, and I just can't tomorrow just crank that lever and they all come to me. Now, the good thing about referrals is they're solid, they're consistent, they're what we're going to build the foundation of our business on. But for most of you that have been doing that for a little while now, you've got a little reserves, you got a little money that you could invest into marketing and start writing 30 or 40 policies a month. And so the first big thing is, where do I get a consistent flow of leads that are branded to me? I'm not talking about buying leads on the internet. I'm not talking about paying somebody else to do your marketing. I'm talking about how do you become your own marketer and you bring clients to you. Christian's done that phenomenally. You see his billboards, you see he's doing online events, and he's doing webinars, and he's doing local events. And who's ever seen that from Christian, right? He's branding himself and he's getting people to come to him. And it's what we've done. It's what scaled us again from a couple $100,000 a year to a few $100,000 a month. And that's what I want for you too. And that process it's a pretty fast curve. 3 years ago, we were not in this position at all. People think it takes 30 years to build a business like what we've got or what Christian's got. And it's not actually true. With modern technology and the way you can use marketing to bring people to you in droves, it's incredible what you can do and build teams around. So the first step is getting from there to a predictable marketing system. Now, I'll give you a little secret, and then I'm sure Christian has a bunch to chime in on this as well. And I want to be conservative of our time today too. What's worked best for us, hands down, I shouldn't say this, I know we're not sending the recording out, so I feel a little safer. Hands down is the webinar stuff. So if you've ever seen me talk about webinars, hands down, it's what's brought the most revenue to our company in the last few years than anything else. It educates people. They get to know, like, and trust me and my organization, and schedule an appointment on our calendar before we ever even touch the phone. That is like the holy grail of marketing to me. Know, like, and trust me, and are educated about the product we're selling, and they reach out to us. Now, not all of them reach out to you, but a good percentage of them do. And then you still follow up with everybody else. So I don't want to talk too long here. I didn't get as much cash as I thought I would on giving away millions of dollars of marketing advice in 30 seconds, but no, thank you. Some jokes are just for me and Andrea and whoever else smiled. I appreciate you the most. But anyway, Christian, what are some things maybe that have really helped you in addition to maybe some online stuff? What else has really helped you go from like that 10 or 15 spot to maybe the next level of like 30 or 40 a month?
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I believe that the more that you can kind of contribute to different elements of your business that kind of develop what I would call attraction marketing sources, right? What Josh has built in his agency is attraction marketing, right? With his system, with his webinar systems, people see a fantastic presentation. It's recorded in probably the best way it could possibly be recorded. Maybe there was even like 2 or 3 different takes and the best one was chosen. So that way, every time they're seeing the best presentation, like it's attraction marketing, right? Like the credibility is built before the conversation happens. So I'm a huge believer in anything you can do that is attraction marketing based. So like for us, we've been incredibly bullish on the group seminars over the past year. I've been talking a lot about that lately. And, it's for us, we've been able to get 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 people in a room at a time. And there's something to be said about a group of people seeing you present in all your glory as you as the expert, you as the authority in their area on a specific topic that they need your information on. It's similar. I think it's, the similar effect to the webinars, that Josh is talking about. And so I think that attraction marketing is good. That's helped us a tremendous amount. But even before we were doing that, some things we were doing was we had a focus of saturating our market as much as we possibly could with branding that all tied together that assisted each other's performances. So Josh mentioned billboards earlier. So for us, it's billboards. It's branded direct mail. We send out branded direct mail. We hit every single Turning 65 person with 3 different pieces. They all look similar over a 8-month time span from their birthday. We run Facebook ads, and all of the messaging, the look, the feel, the brand ties together. Would all of these things individually probably bring us some business on their own? Likely, but they all are more effective because they all are strategically placed in a way to where the average person is probably seeing 2 or 3 of our different sources, and they're thinking, oh, that's familiar to me. I've seen that before somewhere. And I think familiarity in your branding is going to be very, very pivotal as well. And I think this one might seem obvious, but it might not be to some. Being willing to have courage in putting your money where your mouth is, essentially, and being willing to spend on your business. I think there are so many people in our industry that are so concentrated in spending as little as possible, like shoestring budget marketing. I think you have to be willing to spend money, and in some situations be willing to lose money to learn how to tweak a process and make it better. So for me, I think it's focusing on attraction marketing. I think it's being willing to spend and willing to be bold and take risks, right? Risks are rewarded in business. You can't get anywhere super substantial if you're not willing to take a risk in the process. So I think
especially if you're in stage, halfway through stage 2, 3, 4, or 5, if you're in those stages, you have some sort of money, whether it's $500 a month or $500,000 a month. I don't know what, somewhere in between probably for most of us. And that's a good place to be. But we are so tied to that shoestring budget idea that we forget that where I'm at now is not where I used to be. I want you to write that down. Where I'm at now is not where I used to be. And that's a personal development lesson and a business lesson at the same time. Take it for whatever category speaks most to you today. But when it comes to business, most of us get to a certain spot and we're still operating in our brain as if it was 6 years ago when we were broke, or 16 years ago when we were broke, or whatever it was. If you're to a place now where you have a different scenario, remember, it's okay to invest in your business. You're not going to go back to zero. You aren't. As much as that fear tries to eat at you, that's not actually a healthy fear. Now, I want you to write something else down that Christian said in a different way. Sales is 1-to-1. So write this phrase down. Sales is 1-to-1. Marketing is 1-to-many. Sales is 1-to-1. Marketing is 1-to-many. I can only speak for myself, and I personally want to be the person that helps you go from 1-to-1 to 1-to-many. It's a great business model. Seminars, webinars, online marketing, online ads, all of the stuff that we're talking about on the marketing side is selling your services. Instead of one person, one belly at a time, it's to many people, and they come to you in droves. And that's what it's all about. So that's step number 1. We probably should kick up the pace a little. But I love this stuff. Again, my entire webinar marketing system, start to finish, how we do it, where we get the leads, where we fill the webinars up, how to present, the steps inside the webinar that we go through. All of that is taught at the Thrive seminar. I just don't have enough time today to go into depth. We're almost done with the training, and I still have 2 more steps to go through. So you can imagine how much we do go through at the seminar. So please join us if that's something you want to learn more about. Step number 2. Step number 2 is after you grow to, let's say, with that marketing. So your current referrals, let's say, are 5 or 10 a month. And then you get 20 or maybe even 30 a month from your marketing after you figure that piece out, like we do, webinars. I think the average agent can do 30 a month when they have the right marketing system, pretty much no matter who you are. So just give you kind of a benchmark. The most I've ever done monthly on average for an 8 or 9 month run in a row, I think that anybody can do something for 30 days, but for like a 7, 8, 9, 10 month run in a row was 55 a month, including owning the agency and being the marketer and being everything. So now, I'm not saying I'm the best in the world. People do write more apps than that. That's a Medicare supplements or Medicare Advantage to T65s. That's the most I personally have done, managing kids at home and, family life and getting up early and getting, late. So I would say like 60 a month is probably somewhere towards the top of the bucket, is my guess. Some people might be able to break that record for sure. I'm not saying I'm the best, but somewhere in between is probably a good idea. So if you get to 30 a month yourself, I would say it's 100% time to make sure you have administrative assistants helping you. So you need to go at the next level. Step number 2 is to hire staff, to hire an administrative assistant and delegate the service work off of your plate so you can focus on selling. We hired somebody on, what is today? Friday. We hired somebody on Wednesday in our new office. So we just took over a 7-figure office. He's a local competitor, retired, sold the business to us. Yeah, we're super excited. We took over on August 1st and we needed a front desk person. And our system, we've gone through a lot of administrative assistants because we keep growing to another level. We have 3 offices now, 3 retail locations. And so our system that we put together of training administrative assistants, I am very confident she's going to show up on Wednesday. So she's going to train Monday and Tuesday with one of my administrative assistants. And on Wednesday, I am fully trusting her to take over as admin of a 7-figure office. So people think that it takes months and months and months and run into all these roadblocks to get somebody up to speed. Will she know everything on Wednesday next week? No, she won't know everything. But having the right person in the right seat on the bus, I think that's a Jim Collins thing, having the right person in the right seat, that's number 1. So how do you interview people? Where do you find them? What are we looking for? What interview questions do we ask? What are the red flags? All of that kind of stuff we also talk about in the Thrive seminar. But for me, the point I want to make today is if you're so worried about your first employee, if you're nervous about that, don't be. You just need a little guidance. If that's you, you just need a little guidance on what to expect and what to look out for and how to train them. What should they be doing? I haven't called an insurance company in over 3.5 years, except for to ask for marketing money. That I have not. And so I don't know how EFT works on Aetna's billing form. I'm sure there's like a form they got to sign over like, checking account information or to follow up on claims or policy statuses. I don't know how to do any of that anymore because they do all of it and they're extremely, extremely valuable. If you get an administrative assistant in place, you should be able to at least write another 10 apps a month. So if you're at 30, go to 40. If you're at 40, go to 50 and max out your personal production again. So again, step 0 is identify where you're at, what stage you're in and where you need to go. Step 1 is to get a reliable marketing source so you can scale from 10 or 15 policies or whatever you're at now to the next level, which is probably around 30 or 35 or 40. Step 2 is to get an administrative assistant in place, train them to do all of your service work so you have freedom to not have to show up every single day and answer phones. You should never answer the phone again once you have your admin. There's a bunch of reasons why, but I don't have time to get into it. And then you have time to focus on scaling to the next level, which is maybe 40 or 50 apps a month. Give me cash virtually or in the camera if you can, if that makes sense to you. If you want to give me a big X, that means, Josh, I am completely lost. You're kind of an idiot. I don't want to listen to you anymore. I never get any X's. I don't know why. Someday somebody will be bold enough to do it. All right. Any thoughts on the admin side of things, Christian, before we go to the last step?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be quick with it. I think you hit it right on the head, but I think it's one of those things where Josh had mentioned, the most production he was able to do when he was the one-man show was, I think you said 50, 60 a month, right?
55, but yeah.
Well, but who's counting? For me, it was similar. Like the most I was ever able to do was probably between 40 and 50 a month myself as a single person, right? And I did a video probably 2 or 3 years ago on the YouTube channel, and it was basically a video where in the middle of the year, it was like in June, probably one of the worst times of the year to do a challenge like this. I was like, I'm going to see how many apps I can do in a month while doing all my regular day-to-day things. At that point in time, this was about 3 years ago, I had an admin, but I needed more of them. At the level of my business, I had one person working for me at the time. I was doing so much, even at this point. And I think I did 52 on that challenge. I felt like I could have done like 80 to 100 if I had more people in place, because I was still doing a ton of just unrelated crap, in my business. Not to say that's crap, it's important things that needs to be done, but a phrase has stuck with me. I'm sure a lot of people in this training have heard it. If you want to be making $200, $300, $400 an hour, you need to stop spending your time on $15 to $20 an hour type of tasks. And that is incredibly vital. Every time I've hired a new person in my business, I've never regretted it. I've always felt like our business has grown leaps and bounds as a result. And so when you first hire your first person, I remember for me, it was relatively scary because it's like taking on another mortgage payment every month. That's kind of a way that you can kind of look at it. And so I'm very glad I took that plunge, and every time we hire a new person, now we have a relatively, good sized team. A lot of you probably saw them at the summit and got to see, they took care of everything. All that I did was I showed up, I spoke, I talked to people. I did nothing more because my team is so amazing, and so it all starts with just that first person, that first right person, like Josh said.
For sure. And I'm going to break some paradigms and shift some paradigms for a lot of people and some beliefs right now with this next statement. A lot of people believe that they look at people, maybe even like me, I don't know, or people like Christian, or people like, just pick a name that has a seemingly big business in this space. And they look at that and they say, I need to have some huge team in order to make, all kinds of money. Not true. Let me tell you a story. I was consulting with a client recently. I'm going to say that, but they're close to me. They're actually a competitor of mine, but their business, now granted, they've been in the business a long time, but their business grosses $1.1 million a year. They net $850,000 of that. Great profit margin. That's awesome. Love it. They net $850,000 a year on that. It is the main dude that owns it. He's the main salesperson. One servicing agent that handles PDPs and, reviews and stuff like that, and one admin. Okay. The math doesn't lie. People, you could do a 3-man team and you're one of them and you're one of those people, and you could make $1 million a year in this business, which is unbelievable. You don't have to have 700 million downlines writing, a quarter of an app a month. You don't need to do that in order to make a huge amount of profit in this business. Our team, at this point, like I kind of shared some numbers, and I'm, I guess, okay doing that since the recording's not being sent out, I guess. But I don't know what logic that really is. But I've shared some numbers with you today. In our team, I think it's only like 13 people total. We just hired 4 new LOAs because I'm going to dump like $500,000 in marketing on AEP. So I want to ramp up again. But up to this date, to get those kind of numbers, we don't have some humongous team, and you don't need to either. And so hopefully sharing some of our production goals and what we've done in the past, or what we're seeing from some of our agents, is helpful to know that you don't max out at 10 policies a month. You can really grow this thing. I want you to do the math. If you haven't done the math in your business yet, in your projections of, if I write this many applications a month for X amount of years, what am I going to have in income? If you haven't done that math yet, it always surprises me. Most people don't. Do it. Write this down. Money is math. That's all. Money is math. I didn't say happiness is math. I did not say fulfillment is math. I did not say family is math. I said money is math. Money is easy. Money's not difficult. It's a lot different, though, than what most people view it. Making money is different, and that's the big difference. All right, step 3, I think we're ready for that. Step 2 was getting your admin in place and scaling to the next level. Step 3, it's actually my favorite, is take on an internal LOA or two, depending on your goals. If you love selling, just take on one. That's fine, because you love to sell and you can hire this person to sell, and that's great. If you're really, one of your goals is to quit selling at some point and be more of a team lead, team manager, kind of go into more management side of things, and you want to scale it that way, then I would probably hire two to start. And you sell, and your two LOAs sell. You have three total people, including you selling, with your one admin doing the service work, and you ramp up. And you could ramp that up again. This is where we get to this magic. Pick a number. People like the whole number thing, and it draws people to the crowd. So it doesn't have to be 80, you guys. It could be 70. It could be 100. It could be 500. It doesn't matter what the number is, but it's scalable from here. You and two other people can definitely do 80 policies a month if you have the ability to scale your marketing. That goes back to step one. Again, first things first. Don't go hire the LOAs and then say, oh, I'll figure the marketing out. And that's a little too risky for me, and I'm a risk taker. I like to have the marketing in place, scale up to where I have the system running. I know exactly how many I can do. I'm doing 30, 40, 50 a month myself. I have an admin trained up to do all the service work. And now I know all I have to do is get 3 times as many people to come through, which I just have to spend 3 times as much money on my marketing, because it's a repeatable process and a system. Give me cash if you're understanding how important the repeatable process and system on the marketing side is to every single step. It's the lifeblood of your business. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but I'm nervous about running out of time today. The Thrive seminar, we do go into that too. On LOA structures, how do we structure their compensation? Where do we find them? A little hint, I don't go after people that are already making 60, 70, 80, 90,000 a year and try to show them how to make 200 to 300,000. That's not what I'm after. I'm looking for people that are making 20, 30, 40,000 a year that are in the wrong vehicle. And I'm going to help them make 80, 90, 100, 150. That is what I'm looking to do. I need them to be a culture fit. I don't really care about their skills. I mean, they have to have baseline skills, and they have to be able to talk to humans and, like that. I don't mean skills don't matter at all, but I am not looking to go poach my accountant or my doctor or my attorney. I'm not looking to do that. I know a lot of people do, and there might be success with that. Just my model, I'm looking for someone that wants to be extremely loyal, someone that I can improve their life. They're a waiter or a waitress or a bartender that has a lot of potential, and they're in the wrong industry. It's somebody like that. It's somebody that maybe is selling, my newest guy is selling tools at Harbor Freights. He's making like $17 or $18 an hour selling, tools. And he's the number one guy in the company, right? In the region. I'm going to hire that guy and show him how he can go from making whatever that is, maybe 30 or 40,000 a year to making 100,000 a year. No lead. They don't need to worry about lead flow. They don't need to worry about how to learn the business. They don't need to worry about scripting. Dude, I have all that. If you don't have those things in place in step 0, 1, and 2, if you don't have those steps in place, why would they come work for you? People ask me all the time, Josh, well, how do you get people to work for you? I mean, isn't that such a low compensation structure? And they're making, 100,000 a year, selling 30 or 40 a month. No, it's not. Most people never get to that level, even on their own, because they don't have a track to run on. My job is to build the railroad tracks, the train tracks. Their job is just to get on the tracks and follow it. Most people come into it and they hire their first LOA and they're shooting from the hip, and they're just like, I don't know, they just kind of listen to me and kind of follow me along, tag along with me. And some people are smiling because they maybe have done that. And it's okay. I've made those mistakes in the beginning myself. How do you think we learn this? And over time, you realize that it's not a skill problem. It's a me problem. It's not that if they were as good as me, they would have just went out and did it themselves. If they had the same desire to be an entrepreneur, if they had the same desire to do this and that, they don't want that. They want security and somewhere to put their good ideas into and to build a team around it. They don't want to be out on an island by themselves. We got to think that we're not looking to attract me or you to work for you. They're going to want to do their own thing. You want to attract people that are very good, but are in the wrong industry. That's my opinion. I've never hired somebody that has previous insurance experience, in case that was a question somebody had. Now, I'm not saying you can't hire somebody with previous insurance experience. I like a blank slate because I like them to learn everything about the business from me, so we can all be on the same page and everyone operates the same. People even say, clients have said, Josh, I can't believe I was talking to Robert on the phone. I thought it was you. Well, that's because he mimics my tonality. He's listened to so many call recordings. He follows the same script. He says the same jokes the same way, just like an actor would. And no wonder he sounds and acts and talks like me, and he gets a similar result. Last thing, and then I'll shut up and let Christian talk. My favorite story recently is I heard a story about a gentleman who was a big Robin Williams fan, huge Robin Williams fan back in the day. And Robin Williams was coming to town. He was doing 3 shows, stand-up comedian shows, and about, let's say, 15, 20 miles apart. So 3 nights in a row, 3 different locations. This guy bought tickets to all 3. He's like, I'm so excited to go to Robin Williams 3 nights in a row. I'm going to get everything from Robin Williams. Goes to the first show, laughs his butt off. He thinks it's the best thing in the world. He goes to the second show, and at the end he goes, that was exactly the same show. It was a stand-up comedian show, and it was the same thing. 2 nights in a row, Robin Williams wasn't doing stand-up, he was acting. He had every joke, every facial expression, every voice inflection, every reaction was already planned out and memorized. This is the only way, in my opinion, that you can 100% guarantee that people on your team will get the same results that you get, or similar results to what you get, is when they have every reaction, every joke, everything memorized, and then they just go and do it. And they act like a normal human on the phone because it's all in their brain. This is, hopefully that's relevant to some of you that are looking to hire some agents. And there's a whole process on how we train people on that. Again, I'm running out of time. So come to the Thrive Seminar, I guess, and find out. Again, it's September 18th and 19th for those of you that want to join. But Christian, any follow-ups? I know we have about 5 minutes here. Any follow-ups on the whole training agent side of things?
Yeah, I'll be brief. I think, to piggyback on what Josh said about, having them mimic your phrases, your jokes, your tones is absolutely huge. And we try to do the same things internally. I've always told people that come to work with us, or agents that we work with, that are, starting from scratch, the best thing I think you can do is, like, if you're trying to learn how to do, let's say, a turning 65 presentation, I have it recorded, documented down to the finest detail. So the best thing you can do is literally memorize it word for word. You don't even have to understand necessarily everything I'm saying, but it's tried and true. And it's been a nuclear bomb that's been perfected over God knows how many appointments, tens of thousands of appointments, many, many years. It's been tweaked over time. And so them as a new person are not going to have any chance of having the same level of success with their presentation because they just don't have the experience. They don't have the reps yet. But one thing they can do is just copy, plug and play. And then as time goes on and they get better and they get more confident, they can change a thing up here or there. They can make it their own, right? My presentation, when I first started out, I started working with my dad when I was early on. I just basically took his presentation. I did not understand half of the references, the jokes. My dad was, in his 60s when I started. But the clients did that I was meeting with. And so, and as time went on, I developed my own, but I was able to go out and make sales with his presentation because I basically just studied his presentation. And that's a model for not needing to reinvent the wheel to get started, right? And that's how you can work with new agents that come into your business. They don't have to be you. They just have to be, if you can get them to be 70% of you, that they're going to be pretty damn good.
Totally. If you have 2 or 3 people working for you that are at 60 or 70%, capacity of you, you doubled your results. That's my theory. Everyone's like, well, they're not as good as me. Okay, fine. Maybe they're not as good as you at whatever task. Don't expect them to be, or you need to pay them the same salary, I guess, that you make, which that's not a very viable thing. If they're 60 or 70% as good as you, and you have 3 or 4 of them, all of a sudden you're scaling your agency way faster than you ever could. And guess what? They are probably much better at certain things than you are anyway. And we're just fooling ourselves. Ego can get in the way a lot. Maybe they're not as good at the sales part, but they are good at consistently calling the leads every day because they didn't get distracted with 75 things, right? So they actually called more people than you did. So they might actually have better results than you in the end anyway. But that's another topic for another day. At a worst case scenario, 60% as good as you, and you have 3 of them, you just double your results. So This is always fun, Christian. I appreciate you putting this together. Hopefully we did some good today and people learned some things that can grow our businesses. I attend these kind of things to learn myself all the time. And I love this. If I can be of help to you in any way, personally or professionally, again, I'm really big on scaling our agency, scaling our income at the same time as making sure we're growing in personal development as a human and keeping the most important things at the top of the list. Our families, our faith, our God, whatever it is to you, that's what's really important in this life in the end anyway. If you're laying on your deathbed, what are you going to care about? I hope you're laying on your deathbed and you built a monster agency and you're proud of it. But more than that, I'm excited to hear about your personal wins and what legacy you left behind. And again, there's a pretty big theme of that at the Thrive seminar as well. And we want to create a roadmap of who do you want to be in this life? What do you want to get out of it? And how do we just take consistent actions every day to get there? Those that do that, that's a simple process. Those that do that are going to enjoy life and all the fruits that come along with it. And those that don't, if they don't take it serious, that's okay. Not everybody's as intense as me. I don't pretend that. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but you're probably not going to have as many fruits. So what are we going to choose? And let's just go after it and get after it. Again, I apologize. I do have to go. Christian, thank you so much. This was amazing to get together and just spend some time together. Any final closing thoughts from you, Christian?
Yeah. Thank you, Josh, for your time. Thanks for all your expertise. And thank you all for taking some time out on a Friday to spend some time with us. And hopefully you learned some things. Hopefully it was incredibly valuable. And to me, I would say, guys, it's just the tip of the iceberg of what you can expect at Thrive. Josh and his team do an amazing job. Highly recommend coming. I'd love to see you. I know Josh would love to see you. And I've got some things that I'm going to be teaching on that I've never taught publicly on. So it'll be some fresh, incredibly relevant, I feel like, material. So you guys won't regret it coming to Thrive. So I highly recommend it. And if you guys have any questions about Thrive, you can reach out to Josh. You can reach out to me. Anything we can do to help you guys, we're here. And thank you for your time. And Josh, thank you for your time.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime. Andrea, I don't have time to answer the question. I can't remember what it was. Message it to me. I really want to answer it for you. Message me on Messenger about that. You're a great person. And we'll see everybody else at Thrive in Omaha. We'll see you there.
See you guys.